Hello there. Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard. And The Killer, right? Period, pause. The Killer. Jerry Lee Lewis, obviously one of the 6 real hardcore founding fathers of rock and roll in the 1950s. And so to have a concert poster from the 50s on The Killer is just really wonderful. Well, guess what? Today I have 5 different vintage concert poster window cards to show you, all from Hatch Showprint, which printed them out of Nashville, Tennessee, so the posters are all down in the South. And this first one is the earliest one, and the thing I love about this is it's just 2 weeks after the $1 Million Quartet made their appearance in, or of course made their appearance, I mean that's what they were dubbed afterwards, in the Sun Studios with producer Sam Phillips. The date for that was December 4th of '56. Of course you had Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins. Just horsing around, you know, playing for 60 or 90 minutes or something, and was dubbed by the Memphis newspaper later the $1 Million Quartet. Well, here's December 19th, just a couple of weeks later, and the B&B Club in Gobbler, Missouri. So, you know, that's a change from playing with Elvis, but hey, it's all rock and roll even back then in its first year or two. So, as you can see up there at the top, it does give the date and everything, and it says 8 to 12 p.m., rock and roll show and dance. You gotta love that, you know, early, naive, fun wording. And of course, the first thing you probably noticed was Jerry Lee's not top billed. You've got Warren Smith on there, very much a respected and popular Sun Records rockabilly star, you could say. Ubangi Stomp did not chart. In fact, Warren Smith never charted, but it's, you know, it's literally a standard in the rockabilly field and still gets used a lot in movie soundtracks and things like that. So Warren Smith, not on any chart books, but heck, Bob Dylan just loves the guy, and he's had 4 different songs appear on Dylan's theme time radio hour radio programs. And then under Warren Smith, you do have The Killer. There he is, just 2 people on this poster, Jerry Lee Lewis. Crazy Arms is given. Now that didn't chart either. Jerry wouldn't chart anything until '57. You know, it did sell about 300,000 copies down in the South, so that's nothing to smirk at, right? That's a good start to a career, even though you're not on the charts, and certainly gave him forward momentum. And then I love down at the bottom, look at that, just music and fun. How quaint, right? Okay, so let's jump ahead just 3 days, shall we? In 1956 still, just 3 days. And here we've got a yellow and blue split fountain poster from Hatch Showprint, and it's from the Armory in Amory, Mississippi, and Saturday, December 22nd at 8 p.m. And look at that wording, rock and roll show and dance with Warren Smith and his Ubangis. So now he's calling the group after the, or I should say the popular record. And there's Jerry Lee Lewis, middle billed with Crazy Arms given again, naturally. And then interestingly, for you rockabilly-ophiles, look at that, the 3rd act is crossed off, so I guess you didn't make the show, he canceled or whatever. Charlie Feathers and his Musical Warriors. Boy, I'll tell you, you know, Charlie was a rockabilly, you know, he's very popular to this day, musician who just had a cup of coffee at Sun Records in 1956. And so he never charted, but, you know, yes, he's very much admired, and in fact has made 2 appearances on Dylan's theme time radio hour. And then we jump ahead to 1957 and Jerry's magical year. That's right, wow, when it all broke open for The Killer, 1957. This one, as you can see, is from a drive-in theater. How fun would that be? In Murray, Kentucky, Thursday, August 15th, on stage and in person. And then look at that, Jerry Lee Lewis, Sun recording artist, and the big one, right? Whole lot of shaking going on. Take a look at that. Now, what's funny is, did your mind take over and fill in like we always do, right? Look closely at the song title. Whole lotta of shaking going on. So it's got to be one or the other, and the typesetter probably went back and forth and then forgot to take out the one he wasn't going to use. So an extra word in Jerry's classic song title. And then it also gives the record's B-side, It'll Be Me. Boy, was that an important record, Sun 267, Jerry Lee Lewis's first charter, and it was still in the top 20, by the way, at the time of this show. It was at number 3 pop, is where it logged, excuse me, but interestingly, it was number 1 on the other 2 charts, country chart and R&B. Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On was a number 1 record. Now you might notice also at the bottom there it does say admission adults $1.25, children 25 cents. That's basically as cheap as I've ever seen ever on any concert poster. I think I have a Hank Williams handbill that I've seen that's got maybe 15 cents on it, but that's from the 1930s. If you're wondering where Great Balls of Fire is, because that was a 57 record also, he would not record it for a couple of months. In fact, this is, August. He wouldn't record it for about 2 months. Then, 1958, very much Jerry Lee, an established star with those 2 records. So now Hatch gives him a photograph on his posters. Look at that. Boy, gets a picture on there. This one's from Evansville, Indiana, Friday, March 14th. And look at the words on this one. You just gotta love it. Meet me at the Big Hop. Boy, does that sound like fun, a sock hop and everything? How rock and roll. In person, Jerry Lee Lewis and his trio with many others. And then you've got that really fun floating headshot of the Killer either singing or screaming or both, because that's you know, who he is and who we love, right? So interestingly, this week's Billboard magazine, Breathless entered the chart and would top out in the top 10 pop and top 5 of country and R&B. So he was starting to get stronger in country and R&B than even pop. And what's weird is his next 45, High School Confidential, just didn't do that well at pop. It would get in the top 25, but it would get into the top 10 of the country charts and the top 5 of the R&B charts. Wow, for High School Confidential. And then, you know something? That was it for the Killer's pop career. That was it. 2 months later, after this show, the scandal broke and about him marrying his young cousin, and that was all she wrote for quite a while. He would never hit the top 25 again, ever, on the pop charts. But 10 years later, in '68, he would explode with chart success in the country and western field. And then finally one from '59 for Jerry Lee. Okay, now this one's a blank, there's nothing up top, but we finally have a Killer concert poster from the '50s that lists both of the famous songs, Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On and Great Balls of Fire. Although interestingly, they didn't have room for Going On, just a whole lot of shaking. But that's okay, we'll take it. I love that though. The Great Ball of Fire himself singing, get up there Pete, make sure it can be seen. The Great Ball of Fire himself singing his Wildfire hits. You gotta love that, wow. And then there's 4 opening acts down at the bottom. So, boy, the Killer from the 1950s, one of the founding fathers of rock and roll. It's great to have not 1, not 2, but 5 original vintage window cards from the files of Hatch Showprint to be able to show you for this video blog. Thanks a lot for dropping by. We'll see you next time for something soon.